is she's saying there's no such thing as white privilege, but the bit that sort of really stuck out for me as well is that she's saying it shouldn't be taught as fact. This was in a discussion on LBC the other day. She said that she doesn't believe in the theory and schools shouldn't be teaching things as facts that are debates. And this opens a kind of much broader issue. I looked at one of the stats here that said nearly half of Britain's young people are too frightened of being ostracised to challenge this theory of white privilege. Now, that's a whole discussion in itself, I accept that. But, you know, this idea of this is a contested political issue. So do you teach fact or do you teach theory?
Shola doesn't think it's contested.
Father, give me strength. It's only Friday. OK, so first of all, nobody's teaching white privilege in any schools. So this is just more of the nonsense distraction.
That's not
what
it says here.
Is that
not
true?
being taught.
No,
What
it's
schools?
not what it says
What
here.
schools? As an education secretary, clearly she needs to get educated. Children are not being taught about white privilege.
59% of school leavers
They are not being taught about white privilege. No primary school is being taught about critical race theory.
Some of them think
but let me finish with my point. The bottom line here is that's one. And two, white privilege is a fact.
Well,
it's not a theory.
Well, then why are you against it being taught?
I'm not against it being taught. I'm against the principle that she's stating here.
Right.
She's saying
So
one that's a theory.
And it's a fact.
It's distraction to say that it's being taught. It's not being taught. I know for a fact that my children are not being taught critical race theory in school. They are not. And two, to call it a theory and make it a political issue when it is not a political issue. It's a human right issue. White privilege is the privilege white people have for being white. It's like, let me give you an example. I walk into a store with Angela, right? There's nothing on Angela's face or my face to say who we are, what we earn, anything else about us. Between the both of us, the person who is most likely to be followed by the security officer is me because I am black. She has a privilege of being white.
What about when I've got a Star of David round my neck? Let me finish.
But because of that in itself brings that privilege of being white.
What about if you're teaching in Southend in a really poor area, in a state school, and you've got a bunch of white kids there whose parents have maybe broken up with each other and they are all on free school meals, and you're going to tell them that they're privileged?
What's that got to do with being...
Because they won't feel white privilege.
OK, there are different kinds of privilege. OK, this is why I asked God for strength this morning. There are different kinds of privilege. There's class privilege, there's wealth privilege, and there is privilege from being white.
OK.
And that is the point.
Angela.
You're arguing against yourself, frankly.
I'm not.
You are. Well, I'm confused, OK? I'm confused because on the one hand, you're saying there are different levels of privilege, be it class, be it whatever, be it religious.
Not levels, different kinds.
Different kinds.
Yeah.
So if there are different... But there's an umbrella white privilege that kind of knocks out
white privilege
everything.
is not an umbrella.
That it knocks out everything else. So either there are different
kinds. It is a privilege.
Right.
I don't...
Let me help out. Let me help you out here.
I don't need helping out.
No, you do need helping out if you're confused. You need to be set free from your confusion.
Okay.
I'll give you as an example. There are 5. I usually use this as an example.
You can't go through 5
So
things.
we live in a society that caters to male. That's privileged for being male. I will never have that privilege because I'm not male. That caters to being white. I will never get that privilege because I'm not white. That caters to being heterosexual rather than LGBT. That is why LGBT people are still fighting for rights today. That caters to being Christian. That is why our Muslim brothers and sisters still, they are being denied an equal value of life and liberty because they are Muslims. There are different kinds of privileges, and I'm saying to you, as a white woman, let me finish. Or the other one is able-bodied.
Able-bodied.
We live in a society that caters to able-bodied versus those caters to able-bodied versus those who are not able-bodied. So my point is this: I recognize the privileges I have, and I know for a fact that because I'm heterosexual, I'm not experiencing what my LGBTQI siblings will experience, and it is my responsibility. That privilege comes with responsibility to ensure that they are not denied an equal value of life and liberty.
Let Angela answer.
Why is it confusing for my white brothers and sisters to understand that being white gives you a privilege in our society?
All right.
What is confusing
Angela
about
Epstein, now, hold back Shola now. Let her answer.
There's no question that people from different demographics in society suffer because there is bigotry, there's xenophobia, there's unreconstructed racial hatred. But I think to say, and yeah, I accept that in certain situations there are going to be positions where being white is an advantage. But I think but I think it is dangerous and unhelpful and actually a spectacular own goal on your behalf to suggest, to say, I listen to you with great respect. I mean, this is the problem. This is why your white privilege argument will never advance itself.
Why? Why?
Because you chuckle and you patronise.
No, it's not patronising, it's not chuckling.
Get to the end
I'm
of
not going to scream. You're not going to be the first person I'm having this conversation with. This is something black and brown people
Let Angela finish her sentence, or we'll never get anywhere, Shola. Just get to the end of your paragraph.
The point being that I know people, all different levels of deprivation. There are charities that work for all sorts of people, different skin colours, including white. There is terrible poverty right across this country.
What has that got to do with being white?
Because you are cherry-picking.
I am not cherry-picking.
Yes, you are.
I'm noting the privilege that comes, that society gives people, and this is a reality.
We don't need the last word.
Working 70 hours does not change the privilege you have because you are white.
Stop now, everyone.
Thank you.
Because we'll never ever bring this to a conclusion.